All right, ladies and gentlemen, dudes and dudettes, we have a very special guest here with us. He is the head coach of Freed-Hardeman, the Lions, NAIA school. Had some very interesting things on Twitter to say about the recruiting process and struggles and stuff that he goes through, as well as other coaches outside of NCAA Division I, the big dogs. So we wanted to reach out and talk to him. Again, he is the head coach at Freed-Hardeman, home of the Lions. Head coach Drew Stutts. Good morning. How we doing?
Sir. Appreciate you having me. Appreciate you reaching out, and excited to be here.
Well, as where I went to college, when I saw your tweet about how sometimes there's not a lot of respect outside of the big dogs. Everyone's D1, 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 and there is a lot of good other options out there. So it struck home with me from what I saw the coaches of the West Virginia. At the time, the WEVIAC, West Virginia Conference, had to go through out in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia, real small towns. And basically, there is a strategy on how you recruit, and you can burn yourself out on players that you probably won't get. So I was like, you know what? I think we can work with you here and talk with you and let everybody else know what goes on. And hopefully we get out to some prospective players, current and future, about, to educate them on what options there are if you're not going to the Dukes, the North Carolinas, or the Tennessees or anything like that. So no, it's a great story. I love small college and university basketball. These campuses are more like families. And I know you're proud to be at Freed-Hardeman. So we also wanted to give an opportunity to talk about Freed-Hardeman and what you got going on down there with the Lions, coming off a 16-9 season, 7-3 at home. So protecting the house there last year, 70 home winning percentage, not bad, but always could be better. I'm sure that's probably three too many for your liking, right?
That's right. That's right.
So you have an interesting story. You actually, your story is a little rare in the college ranks because it's really hard to go from the high school ranks up to a head coach in the college ranks. So tell everybody the story of Drew Stutts and how you got to be the head coach out of Freed-Hardeman after coaching down high school ball down in Arkansas, correct?
Actually here in Tennessee. So coaching actually here in Tennessee. So, yeah, interesting story. Grew up wanting to be a college coach and played a few years of college basketball. And, after spending some time in the college rankings, I really started thinking I might be a little more geared towards coaching high school. So started off as a high school assistant and was a JV coach, and then had a chance to be a varsity coach, college assistant, came available. And so, the right situation presented itself here at Freed-Hardeman actually as an assistant coach. This is a special place, as you mentioned, with it being a smaller school, it's a Christian school as well. So a lot of the values and morals here lined up with something that I wanted to be a part of. And so came here as an assistant for a year and then left and took a head high school coaching position. And then a year later, they called back and had the opportunity to come back and be the head coach. So, definitely a different path than what a lot of people take. A lot of guys – there's years and moves and, a lot of changes to be given this opportunity. So I'm just extremely blessed. This is definitely a God thing. It's not anything that I did, but I just think God intended for me to be here and open the right doors. And this is a great place, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and let everybody know, Freed-Hardeman is a NAIA school, and although there seems to be less and less of them each year, but there is still a very strong core of NAIA schools that are traditional NAIA schools. And now there is a little bit of a movement of some Division II schools jumping back into the NAIA. I know in West Virginia alone in the past 5 years, you had West Virginia Tech and now Ohio Valley University joining the NAIA. So obviously there's differences between the NCAA and NAIA. In your opinion, being around the recruiting scene, going up against NCAA coaches, what is the main difference between NCAA and NAIA, or is there even a difference when it comes to style of basketball, quality of basketball, or sports?
Yeah, well, as far as recruiting, I think that was first part of that question. As far as recruiting goes, one of the big differences in NAIA and NCAA is NAIA there's no regulations on live period, dead period, how often you can contact a kid. So there's a lot of freedom with recruiting, which is really nice. You're really able to form deeper relationships with those kids and really get to know them. So that's one of the biggest differences as far as recruiting goes. As far as basketball goes, I think as far as style of play or any of that goes, I think it's, basketball's basketball, whether it's NAIA, Division I, Division II, junior college. There's certain niches that fit at each level, but, as far as style of play, no difference. There are great coaches at our level. There are great coaches at Division I, Division II level. There's also bad coaches at our level and bad coaches at those levels. So, there's a wide range of basketball, no matter which division and where you're looking. But, we had a chance last year to play 2 Division I schools. Tony Pujols at University of North Alabama gave us a chance to come play them. That's where I graduated from. And really, we're pretty competitive with them. I think we were down 1 or 2, 4 at the half, single-digit close game at the half. They stretched it out in the second half. They had a really good team, really physical forwards last year, and they did a great job. And then Lenny Acuff at Lipscomb gave us a chance to play them. Same deal. I think we were down 4 at the half to them. They shot the ball extremely well that night, and he's got a great program. But, I think people might be surprised with level of play as far as high levels of NAIA versus your low Division I, mid-major Division I, and D2 kind of falling in between. Really, that gap is not nearly what people might think it is.
I always say there's the main difference between Division I and Division II and NAIA is you go from 6'10" big guys to 6'5" big guys. The guard play is almost identical. I can't tell you how many small school guards I got to cover in my college days doing radio that I was like, how do these guys not get a shot? You got a guy averaging 25, 30 points. You're like, you mean to tell me he wasn't good enough? So I always said, and my cousin who played, he said that's the main difference for him. He said, I'm a 6'6" guy guarding a 5 spot. And he goes, that wouldn't work in D1. He said the guard play is identical. The difference between D1 and D2 is, and NAIA is the big guy, the big role, because it's really hard to get a 6'10" skilled player to come probably to Freed-Hardeman. Am I correct?
You are. You got to find the right one. I do think we have a couple of those guys. Last year we actually had a 7-footer and a 6'10" post player. So we had 2 guys that both had been higher levels, Division I, Division II players that wound up being on our roster last year. But, yeah, you're correct. And, I think it's interesting the way that the game is changing. It's so much more geared towards pace and space and, a small ball mentality. I think that also is just playing to the levels kind of equaling themselves out where, in years past, maybe traditionally post players had a bigger impact on the game. I'm not saying they don't at certain schools now, but, I think we can compete and play with most folks that we line up and play against.
A 6'10", 7-footer, they better lock you up for a long-term deal down at Freed-Hardeman, man. That's not easy to do. So we're talking about recruiting, and you said there's a 12-month live period. For everybody that doesn't know what the live period is, break it down, help everybody understand the rules of recruiting that like the NCAA has and what you have and what your competitive advantage is against those rules. Because like you said, NAIA is more lax. I believe you can also text. And I don't think NCAA is allowed yet where you can text players directly. Am I correct with that?
I think you are. I don't know. I know NCAA is changing rules all the time as far as what's allowed and what's not. And with me not being part of their organization, I don't know their rules and regulations as much. But like you're saying, a live period versus a dead period where, we can go out even during the summer and watch kids play, interact with the kids, talk to the parents, talk to them, where maybe NCAA at times they go out and recruit and they might be able to attend, but they can't have contact with a kid or a parent or something like that. So, just being able to be accessible all the time. Of course, we can text and call as much as we would like. And so just giving you the ability to get to know them more and for them to get to know you more. There's some advantages to that.
Yeah. So how now you're on the summer, you're on the recruiting trail this summer. So now you're dealing with next year's class, or do you still have spots you got to fill for this year?
No, we're finished. We're finished. We actually, our guys move in tomorrow, actually. Okay. So we're done and they're coming in.
Well, at your ranks, if it's anything like what I'm used to, the status, sometimes it was a week 2 into the class year where we were still bringing in a last-minute guy that ended up not showing up at the other school. And he's like, yeah, I'll still come down there.
Yeah.
Them are the ones you're like, well, they're probably going to be supervised very heavily in the classroom because, yeah, it's not a priority. But no, so now you're recruiting for next year's class. So this year's upcoming seniors or JUCO players or guys that reclassed as this year, which there probably is a lot of reclassing, I'm assuming, with all the backlog of recruits where everybody got all the extra eligibility. Did NAIA grant the same thing? That's one thing I do not know.
They did.
Okay. So now it's going to be, so now this year starts. So you recruited this guy. Are you offering guys already? Or is it kind of like, we're going to see who's available, see who's out there, and let's see how the dominoes fall. And then like halfway through it will be, like, all right, now this guy hasn't signed yet. He was borderline, it's not coming. So now do we offer, or are you comfortable to go ahead and put your resources out there and cut into your budget a little bit? Because it's all about your budget at these smaller levels. Is it okay to offer now? Have you offered now? And when do you start offering if you haven't yet?
Good questions. Good questions. I can tell you're extremely knowledgeable about the process and being at a small school. So, yeah, as far as if we've offered anybody at this point, we haven't. Now, this is my first true off season as head coach where things are normal. With COVID last year, things were so different. And then I got hired my first year here. I got hired in May. We brought in, I believe we brought in 12 new players that summer for that coming year. So this is my first time really being, if you want to say, ahead of the game as far as having our class done this summer, really spending a lot of time preparing for 2022. But good questions. As far as like when to offer, I think every coach does it differently. You are correct. You go out, you watch a lot of games, you go to a lot of play dates, AAU tournaments, different things. And for us, the way that we did it this year was, we got a list of probably 40 to 50 names of guys that we've tagged that, there's some things that we like about them. And we'll just break them down into categories as far as top tier players and so on and so forth. But, we haven't offered anybody at this point. We're going to have some recruits on campus actually next weekend.
Oh, okay. Already. Nice.
So we'll have them here next weekend, and we'll make a few offers next weekend to some players. But, I think a lot of times, at least for us, I don't have all the answers, but what we try to do is just kind of wait and see who's available, because there's, again, the guys that we're targeting may get a low Division I offer. They may get multiple Division II offers, or they may slip through the cracks and not have anything. So when you go out and you're recruiting, you're looking for – certain intangibles, certain things that we specifically look for, but also you got to see what everybody else doesn't see sometimes. Because if everybody can see it, there's a great chance those guys are getting some low Division I or high Division II offers.
Getting a guy that's going to be 18 years old a couple weeks before college starts because he's going to be a 17-year-old senior and he hasn't quite, because we all know the physicalness can really blossom from 17 to 18. So it's like, does he have the frame? Is he going to grow into his frame? Is he young? Is he already old?
Right.
Yeah. Upside guys, right? Upside guys.
Yeah. Upside or high ceiling type guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So this first, you just got done saying this is your first regular off-season-ish. I'm still going to say ish because there's still there's definitely still some stuff going on out there. So you've been at the assistant level, you've been head coach at the high school level, and now you're head coach at the collegiate level. What's been the biggest adjustment for you managing the workload from assistant to head coach?
It's a good question. I've been really fortunate. The past 2 years, I've had an assistant here. His name's Jake Mitchell. He and I actually graduated from the same high school, already had a great relationship. I actually worked for his dad for a few years. His dad was a big-time high school coach, won 9 state championships, 6 in Georgia, 3 or 4 in Alabama. So anyways, I've had a great assistant. He had been an assistant for multiple years before he was my assistant. And, really these first 2 years we've tag teamed it. It hadn't been a thing where, he's working for me. It's just been one of those things where we really just figured it out together. I'm still young. I'm 34 years old. I know I've still got a lot to learn. So, just in general, I mean, there's things that come, and, experience is the best teacher as far as just figuring things out and what fits best with you and your school and your program. But, really the adjustments, I feel like I was really prepared for the opportunity. Having been a head coach, really every year since I had gotten into coaching, except the 1 year that I was an assistant. So I kind of seen both sides of the coin, where I've been the head coach and run things before, and I've been the assistant as well. So I felt like I was pretty prepared. But we're still learning and growing and figuring things out, and that's part of the fun, part of the excitement.
Best punishment exercise for your players.
That's true. That's true.
What's the best one? What's the best one? What's your favorite? What's your
What's my best punishment?
Someone messes up. They messed up royally. They did not box out. Then they did not get back down the floor. They're being lazy. We're going to whip them into shape. What's Coach Drew doing?
Probably the number they hate hearing is 33.
Ooh, that sounds bad.
It depends on how many you do as to how bad things are. But 33 is just a triple down back. We're running 3 full court sprints. It's got to be a sprint to make it in 33 seconds. But they probably hate that, and they probably hate heavy ropes. We've got heavy jump ropes, 5, 6, 8 pound heavy ropes. Both of those things are things they don't enjoy doing very much.
That's good for the shoulder strength, though. It's good for
yes, it is. It is.
If you believe it or not, don't let this frame fool you. I sucked at it. No, just
we got some guys that are pretty good, and we got some guys that are pretty bad. So it's real bad when you get that rope turning and it winds up catching on your toes. You're slinging an 8-pound heavy rope and it hits your feet. It's not a good experience.
No. Pick up them feet. It's all about footwork. So are you a defensive slap the floor guy, or are you spread it out? We're going to see how many shots and possessions we can get in a game guy.
We're more spread it out, shots and possessions. We really play up tempo. We want to guard as well. But, the thing that we've had a lot of success with these first couple of years is shooting the ball. We've been top 5 in the nation in threes made per game both years, and top 15 in percentage. So last year we actually had a game we hit 26 threes in and shot close to 50% in that game from 3. But we shoot the ball extremely well. I want to give guys a lot of confidence, a lot of freedom to play, but at the same time teaching them shot selection and time, score, things like that, flow of the game. But no, we get up and down. We averaged about 84 points a game last year, so we like to push the pace and have fun.
What do you think about that? The elbow in enough?
You look a little uncomfortable, but follow through looks good.
Yeah, it's all about the follow through. This is the guide hand, guys. You just sit there and you just kind of pop it.
Not bad. That's not bad.
Hey, I know NAIA rules are flexible. I still got 4 years, Coach. I got 5 to give in 4 years.
We're all full. I hate to tell you, but we're all full.
Not even a walk-on. I can't even pay to play.
We're out. No walk-ons. No
Freed-Hardeman material.
No, I don't think so.
Man, the Christian school can't even give me a look. God,
that's tough, isn't it?
What about a radio guy? You need a broadcaster?
We could use that.
Hey,
I can sign you up for that.
Hey, that's at my age. That's a glorified water boy job, and I'm cool with it. It
would be fun at times. Sometimes I'd rather be sitting up there than on the sidelines, maybe.
I've had some stories of sitting. My broadcast booth was right beside the head coach, and the head coach was very flamboyant during questionable calls. And it was a loosely affiliated Baptist school at Alderson Broadus in Philippi, West Virginia. And let's just say there were several times where I would be like, and as you can hear, Coach Zimmerman's not happy with the call.
Our radio guys are upstairs, so we don't have that problem.
So with officials, let's talk about this. Are you animated, or are you bite your tongue?
I wouldn't say I'm animated, but maybe I am at times. But most of the time I'm pretty level-headed and cool, and Go ahead. You got
how many teams? How many do you get?
I think I've got one both years, so that's not too bad.
Coach, we gotta get that up, man.
I don't know that it's necessary.
You don't have to yell. You can just sit there and whisper something in their ear. They don't need to know what it is. Like,
sure. That's true.
Just don't go full Jackie Moon. That's my only. All right. So Freed-Hardeman, you guys were 16-9 last year, 7-3 at home, and you had a winning record in conference, 10-8. Was that?
That's correct. That's correct.
So 10-8. So you guys took care of the home court. How many of those guys are you bringing back? And let's talk about Freed-Hardeman, the Lions this year. What are we working with, Coach? How good are we going to be, and how much going to win the national championship by?
That's a good question. One will be fine. One will be fine. No, we should bring back a really good team. We really have one player that was a big player for us last year, stretch 4 player. He was an all-conference player that's not returning. But outside of him, we have everybody returning. We have everybody that was a big piece of our success last year. We had a good year last year, but I did not think that we really reached our full potential. There were 2 or 3 games that slipped away from us that, if we're playing to our ability, we should win those games. And that's the thing this year is really just taking the next step forward. Both years I've been here, we've had a lot of success, finished top half of the league both years, went to the Mid-South this year in NAIA, which is best conference in NAIA. Last 2 national tournament champions have been our conference champions. So really competitive league. But, no, we got a really good team. We got a 3-time All-American coming back at point guard. He'll have a chance to break our all-time scoring record here as far as career points. He's really good, 40% three-point shooter, probably career averages 16, 17 a game. Then a combo guard beside him that was an all-conference player last year as well. That's a big-time scorer and player. And really have a great class coming in. I know you talked about the grades and picking up guys last minute, stuff like that. And that's the way some schools are run, and I get that. We're really trying to do things quite different. We got 5 incoming freshmen. We have 1 transfer who's just a great kid who I'm really excited about. So, we're trying to be different in that we're recruiting primarily 4- or 5-year players. We're bringing in true freshmen, trying to build things from the ground up. And we want our best players or our biggest impact players to already be on our roster. We don't want to rely on going out and picking up a transfer every year to sustain our success.
Yes.
So we're trying to be different in that way. And, one thing about our program in these first 2 years is that's probably different from most places. We've only had 1 player leave our program by choice over the last 2 years. He left our program to sign a Division I scholarship. And now he's actually, he's a pro now, so he's going to sign a pro contract. He has signed a pro contract this summer and will be a pro. So, people that come here, they come here for the right reasons. We recruit with a lot of transparency and honesty. And, it, like you mentioned earlier, as far as family, this place in particular is a really special place. It's a small town, super close-knit, university and community. Got about 2,000 kids on campus. And people that come here for the right reasons, and they understand what it is that we're trying to build and what it is we're trying to accomplish. And, it's really exciting with this class we have coming in. And like we've talked about on here, I think this class that we'll be bringing in next year, I think we've targeted some kids that are big-time players, but also high-character guys that fit what we're looking for on and off the floor. So it's an exciting time to be here. We're getting our court refinished right now. It's going to be refinished by early next week. So that's something exciting.
You can't wait to throw some pretty threes on that new floor. Let's go.
No, I can't. We got an elite camp next Saturday, so it'll be the first group of guys that will hop out there on the floor. So it's going to be fun and it's beautiful, and I'm excited about that.
So Freed-Hardeman sounds like they invest in the program, they invest in facilities. That's very important for a coach to have that support from your administration. So tell everybody if you're not even an athlete, if you're a student that wants to go to a good school, why should it be Freed-Hardeman?
Yeah, well, I just think we offer a total package. We have such a great, as far as the student life outside of academics and athletics, just student life. We have social clubs here. It's a little different than most public schools where you have a fraternity or sorority. Here you have a club. It's mixed with guys and girls, and they participate in different events throughout the year. It's competitive in a good way. But, socially, it's a great atmosphere here. You get a Christian education. We have great faculty members here that, really invest into our kids. They take a liking to them, know who they are. Our class ratio here is about around 15 to 20 kids per teacher. I mean, most of our teachers will give you their cell phone number. You're going to know who they are. They're, if you're an athlete, they're going to be at the game. They're going to be behind the bench. So it's a unique experience here as a student athlete or regular student. You can look in the academic side of things here. We have, unbelievable graduation rates and kids that are landing big time jobs when they graduate here. We have some really cool programs. One of our greatest programs here is a business program where you can get your master's and your undergrad in 4 years. It's an accelerated program. We have quite a few guys that take advantage of that, but, probably most importantly, it's a great place. You're in a Christian environment around people that have a like mind as you. So, we are targeting certain kids to come to school here, and they understand what the expectations are and what we're about. And, usually when they get here, they're really excited and happy with what they find.
All right. So you said you played one last question. Or you played. We're going to talk about your schedule here a little bit this year. Last year you played North Alabama and Lipscomb. Those are big of games because I don't know if anybody, for all those that don't realize, these are great opportunities for your programs because you get paid to play at these, and those actually go a lot back into your budget and help with your budget. So, were you fortunate enough to get a couple more this year? And who you playing?
We're trying. I've had. The year previous to that, we played Arkansas State on the road. They beat us by 8 that year. So I haven't had as many or any Division I's call me at this point.
Yeah, you're too good. They got to beat you 40. That's a bad luck.
So, we're trying. We've reached out to quite a few schools about the potential opportunity. Sometimes those games do get scheduled late. Most of those schools they're going to get some guarantee games as well. So they're trying to fill out their schedule. But we hope to land some other games this year. I think Lipscomb will probably happen again. For those of you that don't know, Lipscomb, Freed-Hardeman years ago were in the same conference. They're both affiliated with the Church of Christ. So it used to be a really big rivalry. And last year it was a sold-out game at Lipscomb. So, hoping that can be a yearly thing. And I think Coach Acuff is going to make that happen. And that's a great event. It's only 2 hours from our school. So it's a cool environment.
Yeah, it's take it as, and coaches need to take that as a form of flattery if no one wants to give you the game, because it is not a good look to be a D1 school, because that's such a competitive coaching atmosphere that it's funded by backers and boosters, and if it's hard to go back and talk to them why you lost to an NAIA school. So the fact that you're not getting calls is all you need to know of saying like, that's not a lock. That's not a lock, because like Cleveland State lost to Notre Dame College a couple years ago, and it's like all everybody was talking about. Or I think there's always that one upset every year, and so they have to be very picky and choosy on who they schedule. So congrats on putting the fear in on that one. Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming here and breaking some stuff down here for us. We were greatly honored to have you on the show. Talk a little bit about the NAIA, NCAA difference. Freed-Hardeman's a school that obviously isn't brought up a lot, so it's great to learn about somewhere new down in Tennessee. And we wish you the best of luck. And hopefully next time we have you on here, you got a nice little shiny thing on your ring finger there. That's
I'll be all right with that if that winds up happening. So I think we got a chance this year. We'll just have to put it all together.
Hey, if something happens, remember, I got footwork.
I got you.
I can shuff left, right, man.
So, somebody goes down in the preseason, I may give you a call.
Charge taker, ball grabber, facilitator. Won't shoot open under the hoop.
That works.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, dudes and dudettes, Coach Drew Stutts of the Freed-Hardeman Lions. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, good luck this year, Coach.